Brother, how you doing, my boy?
Hey, you know me, I'm blessed, man. Blessed to be here, just enjoying it all, man.
Good,
How
bro.
you doing?
I'm blessed. Man, you the first person to ask me that back.
That's just me. That's in my nature, honestly.
Of all the episodes we done had, you was the first. Isn't that wild to think about? We had 5 episodes, no one ever asked me the question back. But I'm good,
Hey, that's what's up, man.
Yeah. So what's your name?
My name Riccardo Johnson. Riccardo J. Johnson, Jr., to be exact.
Oh, so you the new and improved version.
You know, hey, Riccardo 2.0, huh?
Yeah, for sure.
Yes,
So
sir.
tell me why you love Naptown, bro.
Why I love Naptown?
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up here, I'm bred and I'm born here at the end of the day. And honestly, Naptown taught me everything I know and created me and made me who I am today. Like, ain't no telling what no other city, no other state could possibly teach me, show me, or nothing. Without being here, growing up here, and just seeing the diversity, the culture, and everything else, I mean, it helped me to navigate the world that I'm actually like pursuing as far as like my career-wise and everything else I got going on in my personal life. So that's why I appreciate Naptown. I'm thankful for actually being born here. So shout out to my grandma and my granddad too for moving here. So, cause my granddad from Chicago and then my grandma from Mississippi, so yeah.
So big dog, what side of town did you grow up on, bro?
Yeah, I tell everybody this that asks me this. I don't claim no sides of town, but I grew up on the far east side, man. Far east side, I grew up in Amberwoods Apartments, right off of 38th and Midhofer. I lived there for like 9 years of my life, my childhood life. That's half my childhood life. So I mean, you know, that's where I reside, most of my life.
So why don't you claim a certain side of town?
Me,
Yeah.
I'm a type of individual, personally, I'm like, it's all in all. It's like, I don't like to I don't like to like separate nothing, because at the end of the day, we all one, we all a whole. So, and that's kind of like my mindset on a lot of stuff. So it's like, yeah, I don't claim nothing, bro. But I lived over there for a long time. I got good ties and connections over there. I got people that live on the west side, north side, south side. I mean, all of that. So my pops, he grew up on the south side. So I got family, like my close cousins grew up on the west side. So it's just like,
Okay. So tell us a story that describes your experience in the city.
I got a childhood story on why I love the city, and that it was a teenage story. So there's a point in time I lived on over off Brookside, and I probably moved over there when I was like 12, after I had stayed in Amberwoods for like half my childhood life, and just been opened up to like a new adventure, basically in life, a new part of my life. And being around a set of new friends or whatever, it's just like, I got to start exploring the city a lot much more, like in depth, in a whole different way. I never got to explore the city. And this like kind of included us just like roaming around neighborhoods, walking from, you know how close Brookside is to downtown. So we would actually like, our group of friends and us, we would like walk from downtown all the way back to the neighborhood, bro. I'm talking about us, a bunch of us just like trucking, you feel me?
Yeah.
But we all made it fun though at the end of the day, you feel me? Cause we was like, we kids, we just doing dumb shit. We just doing dumb stuff. Just like, man, exploring, just walking alleys, you know, messing with buildings and exploring the city and all this extra stuff, bro. It's like, it's cool, cause it's like, we wasn't really doing no harm, but at the same time, we was just like exploring what was going on in our environment, and started teaching us more about like what was really going on in the world and in the city that we lived in, you feel me? And like being exposed to that stuff, and on top of that, it kind of like, cause I was in this program too, where all the dudes that I was hanging out with, we would go to this after school program too. And like going to the after school program mixed with being with them, me, myself personally, it started teaching me a lot much more, like to like really like look at the city differently, you feel me? For me, I don't know. Hey, for me, I'm just like, it's cool because I can balance it out It's weird, bro. Like I can really balance that stuff out, but it's like I gotta manage how to be like, hang out with them and still on top of that, like make sure I'm paying attention to what's going on too. Cause I'm learning this stuff from this after school program. It's called the Brookstar program that I used to go to. And the owner, his name was Bob McKinney, God rest his soul, great man. He always took us to Wendy's and everything. Like, I ain't gonna lie, he loved Frosties, and we always go get Frosties. I met a bunch of mentors there, like Damien, Thomas, all of them, Demo, and they were just like basically showing me about life on top of hanging out with the dudes that I was hanging out with. And the reason why that's like, why it correlates to me is because at the time, I seen myself like pulling away from the people I was hanging out with and wanting to hang out with. Everybody I always hung out with was always older than me. You feel me? It never felt I was probably always the youngest person in the group or whatever. But like being with that group of people and then being in this program at the same time and we all doing the same thing, you feel me? I started listening to the program directors more, you feel me? And I started like seeing myself pull away from them and realizing all the stuff that we was doing. Like me and myself personally, like just started like falling in love with the city a lot much more because I seen how much the city had to really offer if I didn't mess it up, you feel me? And if I really paid close attention to it and all the opportunities that lie within it at the end of the day, you feel me? Like this group of people I'm hanging out with, we kids, we just having fun doing what we doing, you feel me? These other people I'm hanging out with, I'm following, they got a better understanding of what's really going on and I'm listening to them and paying attention to them and, you feel me, learning that we don't need to be doing certain things that we're doing right now. This is what we actually need to be doing. We need to be taking these opportunities. And like, we got a lot of opportunities in the city, especially if we like pay attention to it.
Damn, well, I appreciate you telling that story. You know what I mean? Because it was a lot there. And I think there's a lot of people who can relate to what you shared. Even if they're from a different side of town or may not know exactly where it was you was talking about, they can relate to that transition and those pressures.
Right.
You feel me, growing up in the city. And there's so many different versions of the city, depending upon where you are. And you experience different versions of the city at the same time.
Right.
And them different versions may have saved your life. They may expose you to new things, to new people. And that leads me to my next question. If you could describe the city in 3 words, what would they be and why?
One, I would say it's growing right now. It's definitely growing. Another one would be it's fun. The city is low-key fun. I ain't gonna lie. Like if you pay attention to it, it's real. It's fun. It's a lot of stuff you can do in the city. You just gotta be out there. A third one would be it's actually a community. Like legit. The city is a legit community, and I say that because like I've been learning, like once you know somebody in the city, you basically know the whole city. At the end of the day, like the city is so connected, and that goes for like personal life, your career life, whatever you doing possible. You feel me? Like if you know something, know one person. That's all it takes half the time, just one person. And legit, like if you know one person, bro, you definitely know the whole city. And that person knows this person, that person, everybody else. So the city know each other. It's a community. We all look out for each other. We support each other. We give each other what we need when we need it, and we there for each other. And I say it's growing too, because like I've been saying, I'm into politics and all of that. So. I've been saying like the redevelopment project that's going on and how it's going to impact the city in the future, the longevity of it, and how everything is basically like just kind of start slowly but surely panning out. You feel me? And all the tweaks that they actually making from downtown all the way up north. You feel me? On the east side too with Cook and everything. So they bringing money into the city, they bring opportunity into the city, and it just goes back to being a community and a family, you feel me? And everybody just kind of looking out for each other and supporting each other. And it kind of links up to it being fun and stuff too, so yeah.
Good gems. So back off what you just said, you know, you shared a great story, bro. And and it was really insightful. And I feel like you gave a lot of reasons why somebody should love the city. So to somebody who wants to leave the city, and there's a lot of people that want to do that. You know, they're moving to Chicago, to Atlanta, to Dallas, to LA. If you had to convince somebody who was dead set on leaving the city to stay, what would you tell them?
What would I tell them? First and foremost, I'm here.
Hey, that's good. That's
I'm
good.
here, man. But nah. In all seriousness, though, what would I tell them? I mean, if you do leave the city, I mean, what would change? I would ask them, what would change? What would be the biggest difference for them? Like, at the end of the day, this is where you call home. You feel me? And home, I mean, I was just having a conversation with one of my mentors the other day, and he was basically asking me where I want to be stationed at. And I told him, I'm like, I want to be stationed here because I have a good foundation here. You feel me? Like, everything I know is kind of here. It's kind of, you feel me? And like, they was even telling me at the time, they're like, you know, everybody comes back to Indiana anyway. Like, and I'm like, and when he said it, it didn't really like click to me. But he said it like 2 or 3 times, and I'm like, why you keep saying that? But then it's like, everybody come back here because this is where it's at. Like, we're in the crossroads of America. It's like, it goes back to being a community, a family, being economically stable and everything else, and our economic independence is starting to grow here too. You feel me? So it's just like, when he said, you know who Peter is, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, Peter was telling me this. And you know that man's smart as hell. Yeah,
for sure. Shout out to Peter. Shout out to Peter.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm talking about Peter. Smart, man. I'm just like listening to him too. Like, hey, you right. Like, you right. So I mean, we got more than enough opportunities here, bro. Like, don't go. Like, if you go, you're gonna get lost. You're gonna be lost. You ain't gonna do nothing but just have to keep restarting over. And ain't nothing wrong with starting over at all. You feel me? But stay here. Because if we stay here, we building our community. We building ourselves up. We ain't taking away from what we actually want, you feel me? And by you leaving, you ain't doing nothing but taking away from us. And I'm not saying that in no bad or negative connotation or nothing like that, but I mean, we supposed to be taking care of our family, we're a community at the end of the day, so we gotta take care of our people. We're gonna be Hoosiers till we die. So, Indiana Natives, hey.
No, bro, that's what I love that. And on the flip side, right, then there's people who live in Dallas, live in New York, live in LA, live in Chicago, and they're trying to figure out where's the next best destination.
Right.
And we want them to come to Indianapolis. So if you were talking to someone who's from one of those other markets, they're looking to come here, what would you tell them?
I mean, Chicago's easy. Chicago's easy because people from Chicago are already coming down here anyway. So for them, I mean, you 2 hours away from home, bro. Come on, you come back visit your people anytime. You feel me? Like, Texas, actually literally just had a buddy move out to Texas and actually come back. And I want to say the reason for him going to Texas was because of housing and stuff. And me knowing that, understanding that, I'm like, he learned about housing, came back, and he's realizing that our housing structure and our housing system is way better than what Texas is out there. So, and that's from a understanding the market standpoint, you feel me? Like, okay, of course you want to get away because you want to visit new things, you want to see new things, and you think that everything in Texas is bigger. That's what everybody says, right? It's bigger. Bigger is not always better at the end of the day. So we got to get that to a better understanding of ourselves, and honestly, and just really start appreciating the stuff that we do have here, because that's what it stems from, the lack of appreciation of what we actually do have here sometimes. And people, I mean, if you can appreciate what you have here, I mean, hey, you got it, you good. So, but Texas, come on, hey, we got good barbecue too. You feel me? We ain't stingy with the barbecue. Give y'all the barbecue sauce you want and everything else. We got good music. We like riding in Cadillacs and all of it. You feel me? We got good cars. Hey, everything. We got the whole shebang. But all in all, the housing market is, I mean, the big thing for Texas. So we got our housing market is definitely is pretty good. It's pretty good right now. If you go to like the west side of Indiana, you'll see a lot of reconstruction actually going on over there. And they've been buying and selling up houses over there like it ain't no tomorrow. Because the market is good. They know the market prices is actually about to increase like 5-10 years from now. So everybody trying to get in now where they fit in, you feel me? So come on. And what other place you say?
Well, I was even speaking specifically to certain places. I just named some cities. Man, you've done an incredible job, and one of the things that you said that I think every other interviewee has said was housing. Like, it is the affordability of Indianapolis. It is far superior to any of the other markets. Chicago, LA, Dallas, Atlanta, New York.
Right.
And I think the fact that you had pulled that out was not a coincidence.
Right.
I think that's something that the city is successfully able to cherish and appreciate. And something I wanted to ask in addition to that was, there's different words to describe the city in which we live, right? So some people say Indianapolis, some people say Indy, but then some of us say Nap.
Right.
Some of us say Naptown, right? Can you talk about the difference between Indianapolis, Indy, and Nap, bro?
All right, I got you. So I'll start with Naptown. Naptown, that's the common neighborhood, east side man, African Americans approach to explaining where we come from at the end of the day. Like, it's just what we call Nap, we call Indiana, call Indianapolis. And we do that for the simple fact that it's our home. So it's just like if you go to Chicago and you come across a group of African Americans, what they call Chicago, the shop. So, I mean, that's what we call it, because that's what we like to title it. It belongs to us. We embodied it, we embraced it, and we're proud of it. So that's the name that we gave it at the end of the day. Indy, when I hear Indy, and I think automatically I just think about the Indy 500. I'm not gonna lie to you. The Indy 500, and that's what the world actually calls Indy, because that's what automatically you associate Indy with, the Indy 500. So, and that's what we're the crossroads of America, like I said earlier in the interview. And I'm just like, and Indianapolis would be. That is more of I don't want to call it like I'm gonna just say professional. Like, it's more of your professional. Like, hey, where do you reside? Like, you go to an interview. Like, where do you reside from? Indianapolis. You're not gonna say Indy. You're not gonna say Nap. None of that. You bet not.
You're not gonna say Nap for the interview, bro?
They gonna look at you like, yeah, it's red flag. Get him up out of here. Get him up out of here. This man can't. I ain't about to. Me myself personally, I'm not.
So last question. Last question. You know, hell of an interview. Appreciate you for the conversation, King.
Ain't no problem, man.
So the city listening, bro. You know what I'm saying? The city's listening. You dropped a whole bunch of gems over the course of this interview. City's listening. What do you have to say, bro?
That's man, dude, I need like 6 or 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 tapes just to tell.
Yeah.
But I sum it up in like 2 minutes, man. 30 seconds spiel. What do I want to tell the city? The city. Treat the city as you would treat yourself at the end of the day. You know, we all have to live in this place together. We all have to be in this place together. So at the end of the day, I would say just do unto others as you would have those do unto you. And I live my life by that. And I mean, I want the world to live their life by it, but I mean, you know, that's not really that possible. That is possible, but it's hard. And just teach people, like help people grow, lend a helping hand, just be authentic, be genuine to people, be a neighbor, be a friend, be kind, and be open, be honest, be understanding. Most importantly, understanding is key. Like, be willing to understand and be willing to have those conversations, be willing to discuss things that might be going on in the community, you know, be willing to change things that are going on in the community too, because we have to take care of our community, we have to take care of ourselves. And I mean, it starts with us. Yourself, most importantly though, first. So it definitely starts with self. But at the end of it all, I mean, it starts with each other. We all have to work together though. So, I mean, that's what I would tell Indy. Like, as much as we love Indy and we're proud of Indy, we have to actually take care of Indy. And that starts by taking care of ourselves, taking care of the next man too. So that's what I would say.
Man, Nap is better because of people like you, my brother. So I appreciate you taking the time out, share your story, talk your talk, speak your truth to power. And hey, that's season 1, baby. Shout out to Love and Life Productions. Shout out to Chris, shout out to Jordan. Shout out to Miss Lakeisha. Shout out to the beautiful, bold, and black people who made this season what it was. Hey. Season 2 is coming soon, baby. See y'all later. Our stories, our legacy, our city. With the drip, put your city on the map, make it flip.